I'm going to share a tool with you called the Ladder of Inference, which was developed by a man named Chris Argyris. So let's just consider for a minute. Let's say that you come into a meeting with colleagues, and it seems as if the conversation stops when you come into the room. What might you assume? What goes through your mind? Or let's say you send an email to one of your community partners or to a colleague, and you don't hear back. What might you assume? What goes through your mind? What could be going on for that matter? Or one more thing. Supposing that an important community member comes into a meeting and the person seems distracted and kind of annoyed. What goes through your mind? And let's talk about what's actually going on during this time between what you think is happening and what actually happened. I'm going to demonstrate something called the Ladder of Inference, the tool that we spoke about. So there's all this data out there that we all see, but what happens is that we select particular pieces of information to pay attention to, and different ones of us select different things. And then we create a story about what we think is happening. We draw conclusions. We make assumptions about what has happened here. We create meaning, and those assumptions become conclusions and beliefs. Notice that if we're getting towards the top of the ladder, it's a little more precarious up here than it is down here. Finally, we take action. Now, how long do you suppose that it takes to get from selecting data to taking action? A nanosecond, right? And how long and how many times during the day do you suppose this happens to us? At least a zillion. Okay. So another piece of this is all of this goes on inside our heads. Other people can see the same data that we selected from and the action. That's it. Everything else goes on inside here, our head. So imagine there are a whole number of us who are walking around having the same cycle go on inside our heads. And the conclusions that we make and the beliefs that we form will influence what we look at next. Now, there's one more piece of this. What goes into how we make selections? Everything that has formed us goes into making those selections. So, age. What else? Race, ethnicity, trauma, position. So many factors influence how we make sense of what's happening in front of us. So, why is this important? It's important because you are all interacting on a regular basis with different partners in your MDTs and different families with different backgrounds. So having an understanding and being aware that we can make up different stories about the same circumstances is really important for forging communication in which we are really understanding each other's perspectives.